Shalom, this is Yehudit Farm, normally from Sivan. I'm now in California, in the Oakland Hills, and I want to take this a little early in anticipation of the 40th day, which very soon will be starting in Israel, because I'm now 10 hours behind Israel time on the west coast of the United States. So there'll be some explosions in the background you may hear. It's the 4th of July, and people have been setting off firecrackers and whatever else for the last few days, since Saturday night actually, when we were in Tennessee. I want to explain to you what I'm wearing for this last and final day, 40th day of the 40 days of blessings. It's the hay of Bracha, which is the final hay that also corresponds to the world of Asiya and the soul of our nefesh level, our physical level of soul, both the spiritual aspect and the physical aspect of nefesh. And the colors that I associate in the rainbow system with Malchut are browns and blue, kind of Tehelet blue, which is like the blue of the sea, the blue of the sky. The sapphire blue is also associated in the Zohar with Malchut, so I'm wearing combinations of blues and browns for that, with some white, and a blue scarf with white, and partly because the hay is associated with Hesed. When you think of it associated with the month of Nisan, the first month of it has a letter represented by the elemental letters, the Hebrew alphabet. So that's some of my color system, but I've also chosen necklaces to remind me of this is the conclusion of this whole series of blessings. I have my medallion in wood, which is brown with the white dots for the whole sefirot chart, because Malchut is the wholeness altogether, the unity of manifesting that wholeness in this physical plane. And I like the fact it's made of wood from the trees, the tree of life. And then I also have my necklace from the land of Israel, which is different soils from different parts of Israel, with also, I believe, 3 different drops of water from the Kinneret, the Mediterranean, and the Dead Sea. I believe that's how it was made. And then this was a friend of mine made this stone for me with silver casing, a very chaotic casing in a way, which to me feels like the earthiness, the groundedness of the stone, the brown stone, brownish red, which is one of my favorite colors for the red earth here in California in the Sierra foothills. That kind of energy, and the silver wrapping around it, there's so much confusion and so much difficulty in understanding the patterns, and that's how we experience Malchut very often. It takes a lot of work and a lot of practice to let go into trusting Hashem being able to manifest through us in our unique way, and respecting and acknowledging everyone else in the way they manifest their piece of the puzzle. So all that's been going through my head is preparation for this enactment of the movements for the 40th day, which is the hay, and then the pause for the breath being breathed by Hashem. So I'm going to show you again the hay, and I'm going to do the final hay, which I did earlier in this level of Malchut, of the final hay of the bracha, the word bracha. So when I step back, I bring my hands back to back, up in front as I rock back, and then there's this sense of offering out and then turning over and forming the hay with a focus on my toe pointing to the earth, my head focusing on the earth, feeling my horizontal level, in my hands and head, and feeling the vertical level from the supporting part of the hay. And then when I come out of it, keeping my heel down and raising my head and stepping forward. The sense of the creativity and the generations that can come from Malchut. So it's like the birth canal, the form of the hay. So this is a simple hay, which you can do, which I've done a lot of, or you can do it as the offering hay. They're both very good. So again, the offering hay is like this. And the simple hay is just palms up and then toe points down. Offering hay. And simple hay. So whichever one you feel most comfortable with. And I think I'm actually going to not do the offering hay for this. I'm going to do the simple hay. Because somehow it feels to me like one of the beauties that comes from this count for me after all this complexity of 40 days is how can I bring it to its simplest unified form, that it really becomes part of me, and that the 40th day not be a catastrophe day when Moses comes down and breaks the tablets, but the 40th day counted correctly for 40 days and 40 nights, and that in this last day and night we understand in the night, the final night when it comes, how it all fits together in a unified, holistic, inspired way, as we are each breathed by Hashem, and the whole universe is breathed by Hashem. And that unity and simplicity of that comes through for this final day. So that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to step back on my left. I'm going to go through the whole sefirot pattern inside eternally, stepping back, bringing my hands up, and then pointing and coming forward like a window to what's coming next. And for Keter, I'm going to step over to the right to let Hashem breathe me. And back. Now for Chokmah, I'm going to step back right. Come forward. And I think this time I'm going to go back and forth between the foot and where I step for the breath, because for me it feels like the chain of connection that way as it goes back and forth from Keter to Chokmah to Bina and all the way down the chart. Whichever side we think they're on, they really are just interrelated and they move around. So now I'm going to step to the left and let Hashem breathe me. And come back. And then starting on the left side for Bina, for understanding and discernment of all the particulars, the multiplicity of creation. And going to the right to be breathed. And closing, stepping back right for Hesed, loving kindness, openness, abundance. And left. close. Then left for Gevurah, for setting boundaries, making judgments and priorities, and having the strength that comes from having clear boundaries and clear priorities. Step to the right. And close. Sefirot, stepping back right. Balance and harmony and beauty. Compassion that comes from knowing how much to give and when to give it and what container. And now I'm going to go back left for Netzach. Victory comes from having a sense of purpose. So I've ended up on the right side where Netzach resides, and now I'm going to start on the right, heading over to Hod. On the left. Yesod, stepping back left. And moving over to the right for the breath. Hold, it's an acknowledgement of what is, and they're yielding to that, and Yesod is pulling all the rest together in a unifying way of connecting and communicating clearly from the heart. And now, Malchut, starting on the right. And moving over to the left. Last one, I'm going to step half to the right and half to the left, my feet parallel, knees bent, and receive God's breath as I channel the energy of Hashem through me from the crown all the way down to my feet, back up to my mouth, which is also Malchut, and to wherever's my center of my sovereignty is. My sense of self as a vessel for Hashem's work in the world, action in the world. Relaxing into that string and feeling the support below and the support above. Being a channel. Being a vessel. So this is the completing of the 40 days of blessing, and may we all experience that sense of manifesting the goodness is underlying everything in our life, and being thankful, having gratitude for all the blessings of existence, just being alive. And I hope you'll join me. I am going to go ahead with the next 40 days. We have a couple days break in the work that we're doing, at least in terms of the 40-day sequences. There's a 40 days from the 19th of Tammuz to the 29th of Elul. The 29th of Av. which I call 40 days of challenge and centering. Tisha B'Av's right in the middle of it as the 20th day, or the 21st when it gets postponed. And then there'll be 40 days of tshuva from the 30th of Av, which is Rosh Chodesh Elul, till Yom Kippur. So these all have movements to go with it. And for those who are interested, maybe you'll contact me about, there's a 72-day sequence that also starts on the 17th of Tammuz with the 72 combinations of the 3 letters that compose the 72 holy name of ways of divine manifests on this plane, and how the sea opened for the Jewish people to walk across. And I do that sequence starting on the 17th of Tammuz and carry it all the way to the 29th of Elul, which is a 72-day count. It's a separate one. I don't think I'll include it in the other. I'm not sure yet. So I bless you with an easy fast, because we're still in a state of process and challenge in our world as we try to manifest our best possible versions of ourselves as Hashem's messengers here. So many blessings for this 40th day of the 40 days of blessing. Amen.